Hello, my name is Henry Clay, and I'm here with my good friend Nathan Cummings to talk about a couple of albums that have come out recently, including Donda Drake by Kanye, Drake's Certified Lover Boy, and Baby Keem's The Melodic Blue. So I think we can just start with talking about what we thought of Donda. So I have to say, the album was really good. For anyone who doesn't know, there were exactly 3 listening parties, each of which the album was rumored to come out after, each of which made slight changes to the album. And it finally came out after the third one with nothing but a black album cover art. I think the album was really good personally. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely don't think it's his best album, but it's not his worst either. I think it's better than 808s, which had like a lot of inspiration for the album, but I think he has some of his best songs on Donda.
That's true, yeah. It's very hit or miss, and I think my main complaint is that it was dragged out a bit too long. He could have made a lot of the songs shorter, and it definitely seemed like there was a lot of filler.
Yeah, there were songs like God Breathe, where it's like a 9-minute song, but if he were to shorten it to 4 or 5, it'd be one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah, true. Same with Jesus Lord, I think.
I agree.
And I think some of my favorite songs on the album are, I would say Moon's pretty great, Hurricane's awesome. Junior, I think, is the most underrated song on there. It's got great flow, Playboy Cardi feature, sounds great, and Off the Grid's also up there. What about you?
I'd say my favorite songs probably Moon, Come to Life, and Hurricane are really good. Junior, I think, is a good song. The verses are good, but he could have added more with the beat. Because I think the beat was kind of lacking in like some drums and stuff. But other than that, I think the rest of the songs are pretty good.
Yeah, that's sort of one of those issues that people had overall with the album, where the huge lack of drums is just there just aren't.
Well, some he had a lot of drum, like the trap beats on Off the Grid, and then some he just lacked a lot. That would have definitely added the song.
In the first listening part, I actually think there was 0, but then he slowly started adding more and more, and that made Off the Grid one of the best songs when he added that and 504's verse. So, out of 10, I would say albums like, for Kanye, probably a 6 or 7. For in general, probably an 8 or 9. But I think the sort of hype it was given was a little much, and I think it was insanely good first listen, and then the more and more you listen to it, it gets not worse and worse, but less exciting.
I agree. I give it probably a 7 on the scale of overall and just as a Kanye album. The rollout of it was definitely annoying as a Kanye fan because you just keep waiting for it to come out and it never does.
That's true.
But I agree with you when you say that the first listen you're just very happy it's out, and then as you go on you realize that some of the songs just aren't what you thought they would be or wanted them to be. But I think overall it's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that people will play probably the only songs that will still be played in, I'm going to say 2 years off of Donda are Jail, which is the opening song with Jay-Z, Junior, the one with Playboy Cardi, and Moon with Don Toliver and Kid Cudi, maybe Hurricane too.
I could see Hurricane because I think Hurricane made a radio debut this week.
Oh, really?
But yeah, nice. But I definitely think those are the ones that would hold up over time. The rest of them were kind of just hype songs to keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on, we've got Drake's brand new album, Certified Lover Boy, which was, I think, definitely lived up to the hype way less than Kanye's album did, but I think it gets a lot of hate from people who aren't hardcore Drake supporters that I don't think it deserves all of. So, what do you think?
I don't think it deserves all of the hate it's getting. I think it's probably like a 4 out of 10.
That's fair.
But the hype it was given, considering he paused the release of the album because he's tore his ACL. I think the hype it was given was just way too much for what it actually was. You can tell just from the album cover being emojis that it wasn't going to be too good.
Nothing but pregnant emojis on that album.
Yeah, true. I think on a scale of Drake albums, it's probably one of his weakest, if not his weakest.
Yeah, I think it's probably his worst album.
Yeah.
But I don't think that means it's necessarily an awful album.
No, but I think the features were really good. I think he had good features on it, and he had really good one-liners as well.
That's true. couple of memorable ones.
Couple of gems.
Yeah, I think that features were great. Like 21 Savage on Knife Talk was great. There was just a lot. Travis Scott had a pretty good one, but I think his features on Donda and Melodic Blue, which we're going to talk about in a bit, were a lot better than that.
Yeah,
But
significantly.
I will say, I've seen almost nothing but hate for that album from people who aren't hardcore Drake fans, and I think there were some fine songs on there, even if there were some
Very
odd-
not okay ones.
odd songs, not the best. But there were definitely some hits in there. I think Knife Talk's great.
Knife Talk, I think, is good. Champagne Poetry is
Yeah.
decent. And then the Girls Like Girls, that one's not bad either.
Yeah.
I definitely think Drake has realized he's hit a point where he's so famous he can just put out whatever he wants and he's going to make money off it.
That's true.
That's what he's done with his past few
He
albums.
doesn't need to perfect it as much.
It's not quality really anymore. It's just I'm going to put out music and make money from it.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely fall off from Pound Cake.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, I will say, I think, yeah, Nathan, you were talking about it earlier. The fact that it was delayed since February 2021.
January, I think.
So, yeah, the start of the year, he had 8 months to make this album great, and he really didn't do that.
No. I feel like after he said he was delaying it, I don't think he touched it again. I want to be honest.
I believe that, yeah.
I think
that makes
he might
sense.
have reworked some things or added a feature or two, but I don't really think he changed a single thing about the album.
He changed the emojis from regular people to pregnant people.
True. He changed the colors. Just add a flair.
Yeah, so Donda, great first listen, not so great for long term. Drake's Certified Lover Boy, not a great first listen, but it'll probably stay.
I think
stay consistent. And
I
have
feel like
sense.
Drake's might get better
That's
over
fair.
time because I think a lot of people going into it had very high expectations for what
Yeah.
it was going to be, and then it didn't live up to the hype of what they thought. But I think over time, the more you listen to it, it'll probably be better.
That makes sense. And now I want to talk about my favorite album that's come out so far, which is Baby Keem's The Melodic Blue. And I think this was just amazing. It was his first, he'd had 2 previous albums, but it was his first studio album. He had 3 features from his cousin Kendrick Lamar, 1 from Travis Scott, and no others at all.
No, he had Don Toliver.
Oh, yeah. Forgot all about that.
Yes.
Yeah, he had Don Toliver on there too, but other than that, it was all him. He did great. He even produced a couple of songs on there, which I think is really impressive.
He only didn't produce 2.
Yeah, he's produced for Schoolboy Q in the past. He produced a lot of songs off his album Crash Talk, and that was one of his biggest gateways into music, along with being Kendrick Lamar's cousin, and he signed to his label, PG Lang. But I think this album just delivered in so many areas where Drake's and Kanye's didn't, and the sort of different sound that it had, where it was sort of a different type of trap music that most people hadn't heard before, was amazing.
I definitely think he's going to be probably the start of a new wave of rap or a new genre of hip hop. He has a very experimental sound, especially on the album, and I think it's definitely going to be able to hold up.
Yeah, I think he's the perfect mix of sort of experimental and trying new things and mainstream, and he's also a great mix of making like serious, not necessarily like sad, but like emotional songs and just having fun like you see on Range Brothers, which is
Yes.
a hilarious song.
It is very funny. It's a good song. The
Yeah.
first half of it is a very general rap song, and both Kendrick and Keem have very good verses. And then the rest of it, I feel like they're just kind of goofing around as cousins in the studio, having fun.
They're just enjoying their time in the studio together making music. So I think we're just about running out of time, but to sum everything up, Donda was a great album for the first listen, really enjoyable, and only a few songs will hold up as you get farther and farther from the release date. Drake's album, Certified Lover Boy, was sort of disappointing on release, but the longer you listen to it, the more enjoyable it gets. And Keem's was an exciting debut studio album, that will hopefully show that he has big things to come. But that's about all. Thanks for tuning in.